And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, I am the punk sometimes. I like to rip on the punk. That's what we like to do. Hello, everyone. It is the Weighing In podcast. And my man Josh Thompson is sitting there ready to go after a big workout, hot and sweaty, trying to cool off. I'm not going to tell you how he's doing it, but trust me, he's doing it.
My balls
What's up? my balls is hot. Why are you taking off your pants, Josh?
I had to, man.
My balls is hot.
Sweating my ass off right now. I get this call. I get done with my workout. I get this call. Hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just got done working out. Hey, we're supposed to film at 1. I'm like, I didn't get the text yet because I was working out from 11:30 to 1. And I looked down. I'm like, so I'll be home in 5 minutes. Get home. I'm like still sweating in the car. I'm trying to wipe my face with my shirt. Got my sweater. I'm wiping my face with my sweater.
Go ahead and stand up.
Nah, it's okay. Too much going on down there. Got to keep the hands right here, baby. Got to keep them right here.
Everyone, I just want you to know, if you don't see Josh Thompson's hands throughout this podcast, there's something going on that we really don't want to know about.
Bro, my hands could be here all day. I know how to use my feet. Gosh, come on. Well, maybe before we get started, though, hit that subscribe button, hit that little thumbs up and the bell to get some notifications. We're dropping new content at every direction we possibly can. Sometime today, sometime on Wednesday, sometimes on Thursdays. Depends on what we got going on. It all depends on what the MMA world brings to us that we want to talk about. So I just want to let you guys know, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up and the bell. Also, go to WayneInMerch.com, pick up some of our hoodies. It's almost out of hoodie season, right, John? I mean, it's never really out of hoodie season. It's not ever really. You know, hoodies are something you kind of can always wear year round.
Well, hoodies are what you wear in the gym, so you sweat a lot. That way you come home, you can take your pants off.
Jesus, man. My balls are still hot. Got a bunch of new designs that are out, short sleeve shirts and some hats. Oh, excuse me, and some hats. So, check it out at WayneInMerch.com. John, there is a lot to talk about. There's a lot back and forth going on.
Yes.
You know, the talk with Johnny Eblen versus Alex Bahia and Izzy and Robert Whitaker and all that stuff. We could probably get into that a little bit. Also talk about fighter pay. That's another thing that we're going to talk about a little bit. And of course, the George Masvidal, the fight card. Damn, that thing is stacked. I got to be honest. It's pretty damn stacked. I'm pretty stoked for all the fighters that are on that card, man. And Masvidal doing it right. Hopefully he can make some money on that. Unlikely, but hopefully. Okay?
Unlikely,
but hopefully. But where should we get started there, podcast Dave?
So I think we'll open with kind of recapping from the weekend, and then we'll hop into UFC 284. I think it's only right that we tie a knot on, or we tie a bow on the big weekend and some additional things that came out. So I know there was some comments around the pay, and then there's some comments around the ratings for Bellator. Josh, one that you had sent in the group that you specifically wanted to touch on was Luke Thomas's tweet where he shows historical events on CBS and compares the viewership, in the millions to Bellator's barely 1 million. So I'll let you kind of go through that as you wanted to touch on it, and then talk about the fighter pay as well.
Yeah, John, where do you want to talk on this? I like Luke. We've been on Luke's show a couple times because Luke works for Showtime. We work for Viacom more so, but also Showtime as well. Well, my contract's with Viacom. I don't know what yours is with.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You don't even know either, huh? I knew it. For some reason, I felt like I knew that. But it really just comes down to, when I looked at the numbers, like he says here, average viewership for MMA events on CBS, Elite XC primetime 4.8 million. I wish he would have put the years of this being done. I mean, obviously Elite XC was back in like 2006, 2007 era, kind of around that era. 2008 was probably the peak of that whole thing, was 2008, sometime around that time.
Yeah.
Elite XC unfinished business 2.62. So see, they went from 4.85 to 2.62 million. Elite XC Heat went to 4.5 million. And then you've got Strikeforce Fedor versus Rogers 4.04 million. Strikeforce Nashville 2.9 million. Bellator 290 928. Should go up a bit after last night's numbers. What you're going to do is you're going to see that's kind of the average. I heard it was 948,000, not 928,000. But whatever, you're splitting hairs at the end of the day. But you have to put all this, and if you read into the comments of Luke Thomas, you even read down, everyone's agreeing with me in terms of, not just me, but a lot of people are talking, there's a different time frame in this. TV is nowhere near what it was.
No.
Nowhere near. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, the UFC was crushing it back in days 2 when they first came onto Fox. Let me give you an example.
Absolutely.
That was when I fought Benson Henderson. I think we fought in 2013 is when we fought. I think it was January of 2013. We did 3.03 million. We're not hitting those numbers now. There's just no way. It's not even close.
No.
I mean, and look, let's not even get into pay-per-view. Pay-per-view has been plummeting since, I mean, like Chuck Liddell days was on its way down. That was pay-per-view numbers. Now you're getting into live TV. Look at live TV is exactly where the music industry was when you had LimeWire and Napster and people uploading stuff and stealing content until they get a grip on that, which I don't know how they're gonna.
Oh, I don't.
Everyone's leaning towards the
question.
apps. Yeah, how are you going to get a grip on it? Everyone's leaning towards the apps, but I still have friends that'll send links to other people and send them to me. Hey, you can get this, watch it on this thing. Even if I don't have the app, you can still sometimes view it. Yeah. And so they've got to find ways to reel this all in to get real numbers. I mean, because let's be honest, I can't say what it was, and no one can say what it was over 1 million. But I could guarantee you that there was a lot of streaming going on. But it also, I'm gonna go a little bit to the other direction. Is that everyone likes to call me a homer because I'm a Bellator guy, I'm a CBS guy, I'm a Viacom guy, whatever it is. There was a lot of mistakes made in promoting this fight. Okay, they had ample opportunities to promote the shit out of this fight, and they didn't do that either. And I look at some situations where, you have the AFC Championship game, because I'm a Chiefs fan. I didn't see one ad for Bellator on the AFC Championship game, and that sucks.
Not even a lower third.
Not even,
which is going to be
the ticker.
The ticker that you see on the bottom.
Yep. Even just a flyer up and a quick, 10-second or 15-second blurb about, hey, Bellator this Saturday. Da, 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 da,
hey, Tony, man, you going to be watching Bellator this Saturday? Talk about some blows being landed. That's going to be something to watch. Boom, done. Yeah,
just something like, and when we say the lower third, that means that little ticker that goes across the bottom says Bellator this Saturday, Fedor versus Bader. That's all. Not 60 million people watched the AFC Championship game. They watched my Bengals.
You're giving a little bit more. It's only 53 million.
No, I heard they got. Well, I heard they peaked. I heard they peaked at 60 million.
Did they have a peak at 60? Yeah, I believe.
So that's because that's the other thing. When Luke says should go up a bit after latest numbers, what he means is that is the average 928,000. That means from 9 to 11 they averaged 928,000 people watching. So it was sometimes a little bit lower,
over 1 million at a certain point, a little bit lower at a certain point. Yeah,
that's common. That's really common for TV. You're going to find some people will watch some certain things at a certain time. They want to come in a little bit late, especially on live shows. Like, not everyone wants to watch the opening fight.
What fool didn't want to watch that opening fight because it was fantastic?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people just come in, they tune in, they want to watch maybe the co-main and the main, and that's about it.
Yeah,
that's
all boxing fans.
But that's what they are. No, they're not boxing fans. They're casual fans.
Yes,
they're casual fans, and that's what boxing fans are. Mm-hmm. They're casual fans. I wish there would have been a little bit more focus on the perspective of it, like why it was this way.
Well, you have to look back with Elite XC when it says 4.85 million. Why is that? There was this guy named Kimbo Slice that was partly responsible for the growth of this channel called YouTube, or this company called YouTube. They were in symbiotic relationship as far as they both exploded over some backyard fights that Kimbo did, and Kimbo caught the imagination of people. They thought that he was the baddest thing there ever was, and this guy, especially, when they threw out the first one and he puts his hands down and says, hit me, and this guy hits him and he doesn't move, and it's like, yeah, that's just because that guy doesn't know how to fight, but okay. Yeah. And it's like, all right, but it looks good, and people, they believed in it, and they believed in Kimbo and Elite XC. Look, they based their whole company around a guy and I love Kevin, so I'm not putting him down in any way. That you talk about a wonderful human being.
Yes,
Kevin Ferguson was awesome. I loved him, but he was not a good mixed martial artist. He didn't have the skill set to be a mixed martial artist. I worked out with him, and I can tell you, look, he had one aspect that he could do, and past that, it was over. And gas tank wise, didn't have it, and so you look and you go, but he brought eyeballs. And so they got big numbers. But again, numbers back then were way different than they are now 12 years later, maybe 14 years later. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different atmosphere when it comes to TV and everything. Let's take a look at the UFC ratings for UFC Fight Night with Spivak versus Lewis. Give me the numbers. They're not real high.
Yeah.
I heard what they were, and it's like, I don't know if they're those numbers for sure, but you're not cracking over 300,000 views, and that's pretty bad when you're looking at it. But it's not. Though, it's average for what it is, especially in the time frame they did it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to get into that because there's a lot of reasons why they said they did it during that time frame,
and I believe them.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you take a look at their card.
Yeah.
You take a look at the people they had on that card, and a lot of it went to the Asian market. And they're saying, hey, well, this was supposed to be in Asia when we were going to do it. It didn't work out that way. We had to do it here, but we want the Asian market to watch it, and that's what we're really targeting here. And I don't even know what the Asian market, did as far as maybe it did great numbers there.
Yeah. I would imagine it did. It's normally on free TV over there.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they did pretty well. I mean, especially if they have, I don't even know who the young guys were, but some not local, but some
rising talent.
Some rising talent that people maybe have been following in the local scenes up until this moment, and now following them in the UFC.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and I am going to actually sit here and I'm going to say that Luke should have given a little bit more context of why these numbers should not be compared in the same time frame. They're just not. There's just no way. And you would think that there would have been a little bit more of that. Because there was people down below in the comments going, bro, you have to put time frames on this. I mean, we're talking 13 years ago, 4.85 million.
That's right.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put the years next to those. Dave, do me a favor. Pull up what Elite XC prime time on CBS, what the date was of that show.
I would think you were close to right. Somewhere around 2008,
2007, 2008, somewhere around there. Yeah, 7, 8, or 8, 9.
2008, May 31st, 2008.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking, that's a long time. That's 15 years ago.
Basically.
We're 2023, 15 years
close.
ago. The TV industry is nowhere near that. It's not in this realm anymore. You've got top level, NCIS LA was just canceled. That's on CBS. That's with LL Cool J, Chris O'Donnell, and all these other actors and actresses. That was just canceled. And so, and they were doing like the TV when they first started they've been on air for 14, 15 years. Cause I was on that show recently.
So was I.
And I was on that show back in the day, during the Strikeforce Elite XC day. Yeah. It was around 2008.
That's the one I was on, not the one you were just on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was on one just recently that was going to come out on the next season. Then it got canceled. And now, I was on the old one.
Dude, there it is right there. It's the Josh Thompson curse.
The Josh Thompson effect.
They brought you in and you squeezed the life out of them, dude.
I know, man. The bottom line is they couldn't handle my star power.
Oh, that must be it.
Honest,
that's
exactly what it was.
That's a good comeback. I like that.
It's changed so much since 15 years ago. It's not anywhere near the same. The numbers are not the same. The ability to market out to the youth is not the same. The TV industry is trying to find ways to get the youth more involved outside, like at home and in front of their TV, which they're not. They're out on their phone. They're out on their tablet. They're out in their car. Whatever it is, they're watching it from.
Yep.
They're not watching it directly at home from the CBS channel from their cable box. They're just not doing it from their DirecTV satellite box. They're not watching it from there. They're out and about catching the one fight or the two fights they really care about, and they're turning it off. this day and age, John, this is why the swipe right, swipe left, or swipe up, swipe down thing is so relevant right now, because the attention span of human beings right now is 6 seconds, 5 seconds, less than that sometimes. Oh, that's not what I want to watch. Swipe. Oh, that's not what I want to swipe. I mean, if you think, right, what was it called? What's the dating app that used to be swipe
Tinder.
right for yes? Tinder. I mean, it really kind of started with that. It started with, oh, that's not what I like. Get rid of it. Okay. Oh, that's not what I like. Okay. Oh, I like that. Swipe this way. They were kind of the first company, I believe, first app that really did the swipe left, swipe right. And that's what really kind of made them so popular. It was so easy for people to move on to the next thing, And then the social media platforms started seeing how effective that was. What are they doing that's getting people's attention? And this is how we came up with, Instagram, short stories turned into shorter stories. Then they started doing reels. Now reels is like literally a bunch of short clips, all just put into a reel. Each clip is literally like less than a second long. Boom, 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 and then you get rid of it.
Yeah.
This is where we're at right now in these days. I believe, whether it was the UFC or whether it's Bellator this last weekend. If the UFC did say 400,000. I believe they did probably way more than that. They probably did about 600, maybe 650.
I agree.
Because tons of people were streaming it. Tons of people stayed up.
I was watching it on my phone. Come on.
There you go.
So let's be honest.
And then on top of that, then you've got, with Bellator with CBS, the 900. I got to be honest. I got a little concerned because the CBS didn't market it on the AFC Championship game. They had marketed it on the show afterwards. I believe it was can't remember the name of the show.
Firestorm or something like that.
Firestorm or something, which does about 7-8 million views on a regular basis. They marketed it on there, I think, for 1 or 2 commercials. Then during the week, they kind of try to catch up.
But right with what you're saying, this is where people are going to ask you the question, Josh. Well, if Firestorm can do 7 million views, why isn't Bellator?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you another example. Okay. When you scroll to because I DVR'd it because I want to go back and watch the fight outside of that so I can talk on it properly. And I also want to look at myself for a couple times. Look, I got to be honest, guys. Come on, let's be honest with each other.
I got to tell you, I don't do
when
that.
When I click on it, guess what it says? It says prelims. So the CBS had marketed in the directory.
Really
it says prelims, and it listed the prelims that were on there. It didn't list Fedor Emelianenko versus Ryan Bader. It didn't list Johnny Eblin versus Tokov. It didn't list Sabah Humasi versus Brennan Ward. It said prelims, and then it had some prelim fights on there. That is what if I'm looking at the directory, I'm like, okay, well, when's the main card? Oh, I'll go back when it's the main card. How many viewers did we lose because of that? Let's just say we lost 100,000.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. Let's say we lost 100,000. Everyone's like, oh, I'll come back when it's not the prelims anymore. Well, it only said prelims across the whole thing. So if I put this all in perspective, CBS, it's been a while since they've put on a fight. I know they do football. But that stuff that they do on a consistent basis, especially during the football season, there's a lot of money and revenue generated in that. So that's why they get it right. This is something that they're revisiting to see. And you could tell that everything wasn't firing on all cylinders. And they still almost did 1 million views. And I think they did at peak times. They did 1.2 is what I heard. Around the 1.2 mark is what they did during peak times, the peak time. So if you get to 1.2 to 1.3, that's fantastic. Let's say it's 1-1. That's still fantastic. But this is how much the TV industry has changed, John, is that when I fought Pablo Villaseca at San Jose State, we put that card together on 4 weeks' notice, and that was on Spike TV. We did 998,000. And it peaked, that was the average. But it peaked at 1.3. Well, my contract stated that I got a bonus if it went over 1 million. So I was literally like, 20,000 fucking views away from getting my bonus. I was so
you
mad.
were 2,000 if you said 998.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah. So 998,000. I was 2,000 people away from getting my damn bonus. I was so mad.
You just call up 2,000 friends. Say, turn on your TV.
Turn it on, buddy. Turn it on. But that literally was like in 2018, I believe it was early December. It was either December.
No. 2016, 2017.
So
2016.
2016. So it was December of 2016. It was right before Christmas.
Yeah. And
that was it, man. December of 2016?
15.
15. Wow.
Bam, 15.
Damn, I'm old.
Ooh, you are.
But that's how much just in the last, what is that, 15, 3? So
damn, you didn't fight from
8
December of 2015. 2 years.
Yeah, but I fought 2 times. I fought Bronzulis and Pablo Villaseca.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, what was the 2 years?
Well,
Between
from Pablo
Patricky.
Villaseca into
Tony?
Patricky, it's actually not.
It's a year.
It just
and a
looks
month.
like it's a year and a couple months.
Got it. Yeah, because I fought twice in Super Bowl back-to-back, September 19 and then December 14. Let me see what else. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to get, anyways. But it was, that's how much, that's only been what? Pushing up on 8 years now, correct? I mean, 7 years.
Yep.
That's how much it's changed since then. We did almost 1 million then, and that was on regular Spike TV. And I like to be honest with myself. I was never nowhere near the draw that Fedor, Bader, and Eblin and Tokov should have been, and then with Brennan Ward and Hamasi. Let's be honest. And I was the main event for that card. So I was the main draw, and we still did 998,000. So that lets you know how much the TV industry has changed. You have to be honest. I look at myself and I look at what was on that card, and that should tell you directly how much the TV industry has changed right there.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. But eventually it'll level itself out. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but that's why when, I'm not going to get into it, but you look at some of the ratings and stuff, and this is where it really depends on what you're up against, and then what was before you, how many people were watching, how many more tuned in, how many dropped off. That's how they really look at it now. It's not so much the exact number, but yeah, it is what it is. I look at it, and for the people that got to watch, they got to watch some really good fights. I was sitting here talking with Podcast Dave, waiting for you to fucking take your pants off. But
Okay.
you're the one fucking taking them off. But we were talking, and we were talking about, production wise and what he saw, because he's pretty critical about everything and stuff, and he likes some of the things that Bellator did, and there were other elements he thinks they were lacking, and so it's good to hear those things.
I look at it though too, is that this was the first show back. Let's see, when was the last one? The last CBS show was Nashville. What look up that date.
Oh my God.
That had to have been what, 2010? 2010?
Might have been a little bit later than that.
2011? It was around 2010, I think. Anyways, but that show did 2 million, 2.09 million or something like that.
Almost 3 million.
2010.
2010.
April 17, 2010.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
That
I was much younger then.
That only did 2 million.
Yeah.
And
Almost 3, I thought.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, I think so. It's like 2.9.
But if you look back at that date, and that was a long time ago, but it still didn't do. It just bid barely over almost 3 million, so 2.9 million.
That was the one that ended it all.
Yeah, but that was. I look at CBS
with Gus Johnson saying, "This just happens in MMA."
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But John, it's been since 2010. It's been 13 years since CBS has put on a fight, basically their own MMA show, and Viacom owns Bellator. I sometimes wonder if they know that.
I don't think they know.
They have top executives. They bought this company. They own this company, and I think for CBS to come in, we did basically. I think there was peaks of over 1 million, and it came in at 928,000 on the average across from 9 to 11 o'clock. There was a lot of mistakes that were made on the CBS side, going into the fight during fight week, all that stuff. But there was also a lot of things that just could have been done. Like I said, the guide, when it says prelims and it didn't show the main card, those are those type of things that could be fixed, that could make this a lot better. So if with a little bit of advertisement at the AFC Championship game, with a little bit more advertisement maybe during the week, a little bit more eyeballs on it in terms of media, trying to get more, bring in more media sources to help cover the event. I think all those things at least that we know that that's not the max it could be. It could have been higher had there been a little bit more. It had been done a little bit better, I guess. And a couple mistakes were made here and there. But like I said, they're getting back into the groove of owning an MMA fight company.
I don't think they're getting back into the groove of owning anything. I think they're getting back into, all right, let's take a look and see what this does. I think it's all experimental, honestly, for them, because if it does a good number, you'll see another one. If it does a number that they're happy with, then it'll happen. If that number is something they're not happy with, it won't happen. Because right now, all of them, I have my brother-in-law works for CBS. He's a graphic artist, designer, does all kinds of stuff, does things for the Super Bowl when they have it, does things for the AFC Championship. He had just gotten done with it. And he goes, I don't care what show it is. He goes, right now, all major channels are losing money. He goes, CBS has the number 1, number 2, number 3 TV shows. He goes, and based upon advertising dollars, they're losing money. He goes, they got to figure out what to do because you can't continue on in business that way. He goes, so it doesn't matter so much as far as views. It matters when they can put advertising into places and get those advertising dollars, because if they don't, whole thing collapses.
Well, do you remember when actors and actresses used to fall off if they had one bad movie?
Oh yeah.
But now if you go on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, you see top level actors having just shitty movies. But they're just making okay, you get paid 10 million or 15 million or 18 million, or let me just put out a bunch of movies making 18 to 25 million, and I'll make my 200-300 million instead of having so much pressure on it for it to be a box office hit. It goes straight to Netflix. How a handful of people see it, but Netflix pays for it, for it to be on its platform.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk right now with Netflix purchasing Cain Velasquez's documentary done by Jen Brown, and the numbers are looking good. But then also too, you reach out to Amazon; they're willing to do it too. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be put together on that thing. There's still a lot more content that they need to put up and things like that. So, well,
that story's not over. So there's a whole lot left.
Yeah, that story's not over. But I mean, that lets you know that they are willing. These platforms, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, whatever it is, they're all willing to spend money, which takes away from the actual TV on your cable box, or on your dish, in your normal everyday channel, CBS, Fox. All those other channels. So these numbers are not I know we've rambled on long enough about this. These numbers are not accurate as much as we would like them to be. I know there's a lot of streamers that are out there that have taken some of the numbers. But I even looked at the number at 928,000. I honestly, to be honest, with the way that people stream stuff these days and the way they watch from their phone, the way they watch from their iPad, the way they watch from their computer, I was expecting to be about, I said 750. So it outpunted the coverage for me. I was hoping I said for it to be 2-3, but I knew it was not going to be 2-3. And I talked to people and I was like, man, I'm hoping for 750 at minimum. And for it to be close to 1 million and peaked over 1 million, I'm happy with that. And then what you do is you use this opportunity to build on, more. Look, if you're an MMA fan, it doesn't matter whether you're a Bellator fan, a UFC fan, whatever. You should be excited that there's more content being promoted on live TV,
free TV,
on free live TV. Yeah.
Well, every UFC I watch, which I watch them all, I pay for.
Yeah.
I pay ESPN Plus because if it's just an average show, it's on ESPN Plus, so I have to pay for that. If it's a pay-per-view, I pay for that. So to watch MMA with the UFC, I'm paying for every damn show that I freaking watch, even when it's not a pay-per-view one. At least with the PFL, I don't have to pay. And at least with one right now, I don't have to pay. And with Bellator, I don't have to pay. So, nothing against the UFC. This is, they're the bread and butter and they're the big dog on the block here. But it's nice to have content that I don't have to pay for also. So.
Yeah. Now let's get into another thing with numbers, which is fighter pay.
I love that.
I think MMA Junkie posted it, Dave, and it is a picture of Ryan Bader and Fedor Emelianenko.
Yep.
And yeah, and so right from there, and I did watch a little expert of a little clip of Ariel Helwani, and he was talking about the breakdown of that there's no way that these guys made that. And finally, Ariel and I could agree on something. And I said this publicly. Ryan Bader is set to make $150,000. Fedor Emelianenko makes $100,000. That is like the Fedor thing. Like, I can understand how people maybe thought maybe Ryan made, $150. Because you go back maybe at some of his old, no, I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe because if you go back at some of the old UFC numbers, right? And you're like, oh, well, he made this. Well, I can just tell you he's not making that. But the biggest one to me was Fedor. There is no way that guy's not getting out of bed to even stretch for $100,000.
That's right.
He's not getting out of bed to stretch for $100,000.
Yeah.
He does. It just doesn't bother. Like, he was at peace to walk away. He was on his last fight of his contract. He made a ton of money. And when people say, "Oh, well," because if you read my comment there, Dave, it's right there. Can you read it?
How long is that thing?
Jesus.
It says
you have a hard time pronouncing words. There it is.
Do you want it?
You want me to let me read it?
Okay.
It says, "People, this is not anywhere near what they make. I've done this several times in several promotions." It says, I meant to say, I only allow you to see what I want you to see and what I'm able to disclose. A portion of their purse to the commission that later is public record. I was making close to 7 figures, but only disclosed 10 to 15K to the commission. These numbers aren't anywhere near what they made, and the media knows this, which is crazy that the media actually continues to put this out, like as if this is what they really made.
Well, hold on. Let's give the media some credit here. Is the media puts out, things. The California State Athletic Commission puts these numbers out because that's the check that they hand to the fighter.
Yeah.
And so the California State Athletic Commission has done this several times in putting these numbers out. But why do they put these numbers out, Josh?
I don't know.
They put them out because they want people to talk about fighter pay, because they believe, knowing that the fighters are making more money than that, but they believe that it's good that people complain about fighter pay because they think fighters should make more money, and they want them to make more money. Now, the big thing to think about is
the media. The media. You're saying the media puts these out because they want them to make more money.
Commission puts it out to the media, and the media puts it, onto their websites as far as what they were handed as a check. The real thing is this: if you are a dentist working in the city of Kansas City, we'll say, or you're a doctor in the city of Los Angeles, is it anyone's business how much you make? If you're a police officer or a teacher, is it really anyone's business? Do you want people to know how much money you make? Most people do not want their neighbor knowing how much they make. So why is it that fighters should be in the position that everyone should know how much money they make? It's just, it's not part of the equation of there are things in here that you're going to know about the fighter. You're going to know what the fighter's weight is. Okay. Girls have to stand on a scale in front of everyone and weigh in, which we would normally would say is, oh, you don't ask a woman her weight, right? It's just not right. It's not, it's not common courtesy, but it's information you get. But to sit there and say that a fighter has to tell you what they're making is not right. And there's a lot of things behind it in why it's not right for them to tell you. There's people that come at fighters to, they want money for things, family members, all these things. You just take a look, and all I can tell you is, back in 2008, when Fedor fought for Affliction, he had 2 checks. Okay. One was for $150,000 with the commission, and one was at, basically $2.8 million because his total pay was $3 million. And that's what he made for that event, knocking out Tim Sylvia. Okay. Do you think he's making less now?
No.
Come on, guys. It's stupid. Ryan Bader, everybody, and just to put it out there, the UFC does this too. They do it. The UFC does it in a different way. They'll give you what your contract is, and then they'll be selective and they'll hand out bonuses. Sometimes, you hear about the $50,000 bonus. They'll hand that out, but they'll also hand out other ones. You know this. Yep. There are bonuses. The envelope comes in the back, and they give a fighter a bonus. And hey, again, I don't blame the UFC for not telling people about those things. That's their business, and they're running their business. And some of it is set up in the fighter's contract. But you can take a look and know this: you have not heard of not one fighter that came from the UFC to Bellator or the PFL who has said, I'm making less money. They're not, because Bellator and the PFL have to pay more money. They have to, because if I can sit there and fight in any organization and it's the same amount of money, well then, I'll stay with the UFC. But when the PFL or Bellator pays them a lot more money, Corey Anderson came out and told people what he was. He's being honest, and when he's saying it is, look, I have now been able to buy my wife a home. I have paid off my bills. I have been able to do this thanks to Bellator. Mm-hmm. It's not thanks to the UFC and what he was making then, because he made a lot more money making that jump. And, good for him. God bless him. Ryan Bader, same thing. Ryan Bader is making great money, and he deserves it. He deserves it. But he doesn't deserve the fact that people have to know what he's making.
So I'll give you guys a little bit more insight of this.
Go ahead.
Is why the UFC does this. Why the UFC does it. I did it for personal reasons, because I had never made that much money in my life, and I didn't want people coming out of the woodwork fucking all of a sudden.
Oh, I would have too, dude. I'd have been asking you for some fucking money.
But it's true, man. Look, I live in the Bay Area, and the people are not always your friends. No. In California and in the Bay Area, you think you have friends, but you don't normally really have real friends. And so you have to be very cautious about who you allow into your circle. And when it becomes public record that you've made this much money, all of a sudden your phone starts ringing. Hey, let's go play golf. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's go do that. That's not who I am. That's never who I have been. That's why I never traveled with an entourage. I never wanted to have a lot of people with me. I always went to my fights just me and my managers and my training partner, whoever was there to help me train. But I was also part of the management team of Dwayne Zink and Bob Cook, who managed Phil Davis, Forrest Griffin, Rashad Evans, Chuck Liddell. I mean, we've had guys, Josh Koscheck, Mike Swick, John Fitch, all these guys over the years. Dale Cormier, Cain Velasquez. They managed all of them. Here is the reason why the UFC shows you that original check. And when the contract negotiations happen, like Francis Ngannou, they want to show him on contract only making $400,000 or $500,000.
Yeah.
Because if anyone ever comes along, like a Tom Aspinall, and just starts starching people and knocking them out, and they come and say, I want to make this, I deserve $1 million.
No, you don't. Take a look at what our champ makes.
Exactly. Because Chuck Liddell, they used it on Chuck Liddell. For the longest time, Chuck Liddell was making $250,000, and it showed on the stub, and it was released to the commission. Fighters that came after him, or fighters that were kind of coming along, Rashad Evans and other fighters, they would say, I want to make $500,000. I want to make $750,000. Why would I pay you that when the champ, Chuck Liddell, is making $250,000?
But that's not what Chuck was making.
That's not what Chuck was making, you guys. No. So as a promotion, that's the way that's the reason why they show you that they're making this much money. That's not really what those fighters are making.
Nope.
My fights, when I fought Benson, I made a bonus, especially after the Nate fight. I made a huge bonus for the Nate fight.
Sorry for the phone interruption. Let me just shut this down. I apologize. This is what happens when you're a very, very popular person.
When I fought Nate Diaz, I made a big bonus. I also got a bonus when I got home, and I got several other little checks along the way too between two fights. Then I fought Benson. Okay, the fight didn't go my way, but I still got a really big bonus when I got home. Plus, I got a bonus in the back room. There's more money to be had there than people think. And plus, there were sponsors back then. I made a killing in sponsors for the Benson fight. I just crushed it in sponsors. But this is why. First off, it's no one's business what these fighters make. It's no one's. And to touch on what Ariel said, I don't even know why the media does this, because they're fake. And they know they're fake. So you're basically know that you're promoting fake news.
You're putting out something you know is just not true.
Not true.
Yeah.
And so that's
but you've been told it, so you can put it out.
You can. But when you know it's not true, why would you do that?
No, it's not true.
Because I think they do it because some fighters, they really are making what is listed.
Sure.
And some fighters,
the lower category
fighters are. And so, but there's just no way that the fighters are making this amount. Now, someone also said, yeah, but then so you're basically admitting to committing tax evasion. No. I still have to claim all this.
You're going to get a damn W-2.
Yeah, exactly, for the whole amount. Do you think the UFC and do you think that CBS, you think that Showtime's going to let you get away? They have to write all that cash off they gave you. Yeah. They're going to send you a 1099. They're going to send you
absolutely.
They're not going to miss anything. If anything, you got to check and see if they didn't add anything on there. So
yeah, they don't miss one dime that they give to you.
No, they don't. No, I mean, I've literally I had it written down all in my books. And they came up a little bit heavy, and thankfully I kept it in. But then I had to go back after them and tell them, hey, no, you got my 1099s off. And they were off, luckily, because I keep very good books. And so I went back and they had to cut me they basically had to send me another 1099 with a lower percentage or a lower number. And yeah. So look, you guys, the reason why they do this, fighters do this, is they don't want you guys knowing, and there's a reason for that. Because that's part coming out of the woodwork.
But it's part of the reason I'm going to go to the other end. And I've done it too many times. People have asked, what do officials make? Oh, you're making it. And I've always been honest. And I've given you the exact numbers of what officials make. Mm-hmm. And every time I do, people go, oh, you're full of shit. You're lying, right? And it's like, no, that's the real number. Yeah. Because it's just not a moneymaker. Now, when I went to foreign countries and did things, I got to say my own price. Whenever I worked in North America under a commission, man, sometimes I worked for $500. Sometimes I worked for $1,500, but that was about it. $2,000 was the most.
Jesus, that's trash.
It is reality. So that 150, 100, I would have taken those.
No one arrest them. Fucking do a good job. They get paid shit.
That's it. See, so you can't complain.
Oh man. But that's our take on that. But look, now we're going to jump into UFC 284, the pay-per-view this weekend. And of course, my longtime friend and my man, Islam Makhachev, is going to be defending his title against Alexander Volkanovski. John, you've had
some records there: 23-1 and 25-1.
You've had this epiphany all of a sudden, and you really believe that Alex Volkanovski is going to win this fight.
No,
are you just pulling my leg?
I just had to fuck with you for a while. So I figured I was going to do it on the show, and then everyone would go, "Well, you said." I go, "I can't do it." So I told Podcast Dave what I was going to do, just to fuck with you for a while. But no, the truth is, I look at this fight, and I love Alexander Volkanovski. I think he's a tremendous fighter. And everyone's going to talk about all the things that he's been saying about the people, that he's training with, and they can't take him down, and he's so much stronger now, and all these things, Josh. And I'm not saying he's not stronger, but what percentage of stronger are you? It can't be that much. All right. It's not enough to make up the difference, because there is a huge difference when it comes to the grappling of both of these guys. And I'm taking nothing away from Alexander. He's good, but he's not great in those areas, where Islam is great in those areas. And when you have someone like Islam, who physically is bigger, he is physically stronger, no matter what anyone wants to say about, Volkanovski's gotten stronger and bigger and all that stuff. Putting on that 10 pounds is not going to change that. It just doesn't happen that way. So I have a bigger, stronger fighter who has got a clear advantage when in his strength of taking someone to the ground, controlling their body, making them work. And now Volkanovski, I don't think is going to get tired. I don't think he's going to get tired. But I think that as the tide is starting to come in, he's going to find that he's getting deeper and deeper into a water that he's having to work harder within to just survive that. And it's just styles of fights and the way they are. Look, I could be wrong, but I don't honestly. If he gets out of the third round of this fight, he's a winner.
Absolutely. I want to say that this fight kind of scares me for Islam, and
well,
it scares me.
I'm not saying
that
Islam can't lose. Anyone can lose in a fight.
Yeah,
but I would be really surprised if this fight doesn't end with a quick knockout either way, which I would be surprised with anyways. The fight goes towards Islam.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. I said this a month ago.
Yeah,
I didn't see Volk getting out of the third round. I said maybe even pushing to get out of the second round would be hard for him. But I believe Volkanovski will have a great game plan in that first round, and I also think that Islam's going to fight composed. He's going to wait for the fight to develop in front of him. He's not going to chase after him. He can't afford to chase after him because if he leaves himself open with Volkanovski's speed and accuracy on his striking, he could end up getting caught. I don't see that happening. I see him taking the center of the cage.
The length is going to cause a problem for Volkanovski too, because there is a sizable difference in the length of both of these guys.
There is.
And so Volkanovski's got to be the guy that crushes that space and comes inside to land his shots. Makhachev is not.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think Islam's going to take the center of the cage. And he's going to let Volk kind of bounce around on the outside. And as he gets close enough and he lunges in, he's going to try to grab him and foot sweep him, take him down. I don't see him trying to shoot to the legs. I don't see that. I think he'll try to throw knees up the middle. He'll try to, and if he gets taken down, he knows that Volk's not going to come on top. He knows that. Volkanovski in no way is going to, if Islam throws a head kick and flips and falls, Volkanovski's not jumping on top of him.
No.
And if he throws a flying knee and knocks off balance and falls to a butt, Volkanovski's not going to jump on and try and land a shot or two. He's going to back away. So there's no threat there. Yep. Now, I know that we always talk about that I don't want to do MMA math. But I'm going to give a little bit of this, is that Islam Makhachev is a better grappler than T-City. And T-City had him close to tapped twice. Didn't get it, but it was very close. Both in the same round, the guillotine and the triangle. Almost had him. Islam will put himself there easily if this fight hits the ground. It was almost like when you guys go back and you watch the Khabib fight with Justin Gaethje. Once he got him to the ground, he had mount. He just stepped over the leg and pulled guard or pulled triangle on him.
Yeah,
like you don't see guys doing that against world-class fighters, number 1, number 2 guys. You don't see that. And I've said this before. Islam is the better grappler if I take Khabib and I take Islam. He's the better grappler. And so when I put Volkanovski, doesn't matter how strong he is. I get concerned about, I know, I get concerned about the speed though. But once he realized, Islam already knows there's no submission threat.
Nope.
The knockout threat is there only because of the speed, but you got to jump in and jump out before I can get my hands on you. And so I just got to be patient. Let the fight develop in front of me. You're eventually going to make a mistake and get too close to me. And once we hit the ground, it's over. I don't see him getting up after they hit the ground. I could see him sticking and moving and staying on the outside for the first round because Islam's going to be patient. He's going to have to be patient. He doesn't want to get teed up with something and start looking. And then it could be a snowball effect. You get rocked. And Volkanovski is a finisher. He's someone that will jump on you. He can get after you, and it could be over quick like that if he's able to rock you and drop you or whatever. But
I like how you're trying to be so even keeled in this because, again, I am a huge Volkanovski fan. He's got a very limited amount of time to get that knockout.
Yeah.
The longer this fight goes, Josh, the more it's going towards Makhachev.
But, John, there is no pressure on Alexander Volkanovski. None. He's supposed to lose. He's the smaller guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree
And
with
so
that.
all
That's
the
a good
pressure, all the pressure was on Islam. All the pressure was on Islam to win the title when he fought.
Yes.
For Habib,
there, I'm telling
for
you, yes.
Habib's dad.
And here, it's only pressure that he allows to actually affect him.
No, John,
Come
that's
on.
BS.
What are you talking about? He's got what pressure? He's got to defend his belt. He's got to defend his belt anyways.
I agree, but the pressure is that you're fighting a guy that you've called a little person, and like if you lose to him, what does that say?
That means you lost to a little person.
I get it, but that's not what that's the pressure. The pressure is right there. You lost to the 145 pounder. I mean, let's be honest. Bellator got rid of Michael Chandler, or let him go because he lost to Patricio. How can I market that we have the best 55 pounder in the world when he lost to our 45 pound champ?
I agree.
So that is a very similar situation right here.
Well, it could be.
Yeah, I mean it could. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the pressure was on Michael Chandler to beat Patricio. And the pressure is on Islam to beat Volkanovski because they're the smaller fighters.
All right. I'll agree with you on that.
All right. But it will, I think when it does hit the ground, I don't know if Alex can be able to get up. But I think in that first round, Islam's going to take his time. He's not going to rush. And he's going to wait for Volk to make a mistake. Because last thing you want, and I said this before the Charles fight, the last thing you want is for him to be able to get attached, get a hold of your Kimura position. Get a hold of your arm being above your head because that side choke. And if he gets to your back. Those three things, he's just good. Well, Islam is so good in those positions. And he's good at X-guard sweeping you and getting back to the top position. So if he does slip and fall and you think you're going to jump on him, he'll hook inside the leg. He'll go X-guard. He'll just sit up with you because he's so strong in controlling that leg. And then he gets to the top position, passes your guard, mounts you, and then he just beats you down, or he gets the submission, the side choke. It's very similar to what you saw against Charles. And for people, Volkanovski is great. He's great on the feet, speed, cardio, fucking mindset. Hello, that's like the number one thing. With him, he's the guy that's outpunted the coverage his whole life. Being a small guy, I know he was 230, 220, 230 on the rugby team, but just
he's
running
only
dudes
lost
over.
That one loss, 25-1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what weight class it was in?
185, right?
185.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm surprised I remembered that.
Yeah.
So I feel like the pressure is on Islam. And the other thing too is not having Habib there. Not having him there in the corner. I wonder how much that's going to affect him. I think maturity wise, he knows. He knows. That's your brother, man. That's the guy you've grown up with him with you every single time.
How much did it affect Usman in his fight?
I don't.
Nope.
I no.
How much did it affect Umar in his fight?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
No. Let me ask you this, John. The relationship is not the same, even though they're cousins.
Yeah.
They're all brothers. They're all close.
I understand what you're saying.
But this is
Islam is more like a brother with Habib. There's no doubt.
There's a life. It's a life. Everyday training, lifelong friendship. It's another, and I get it. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Usman and Umar are not close to Habib. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is like it was his dad's number one student outside of him. And there's that mutual, like, this is my brother. I have to make sure I do as much as I possibly can for him. He helped him get the title. He helped him get to that level. He's there now, but this will be his first fight without Habib, and since his dad's passed. So I think this is going to be, it's a lot of pressure I think Islam's dealing with in terms of the size of Volkanovski, not having Habib in the corner. I want to know who's in the corner though. Is it going to be Umar? I know it's not Usman because Usman's out here. Yep. I think Umar's in San Jose also. So I wonder who's cornering him.
Maybe
I know Javier is.
Yeah.
Maybe Abu Bakr. That would make sense. But there's a lot to be there's a lot of changes, and that's hard to deal with sometimes. One time I had to fight.
But who's he been in camp with?
I don't know. He's been
that's the whole point. I know he's been in camp with Javier. I don't know the other guy, but whoever he's been in camp with, those are the guys he's going to be going with. Mm-hmm. And you've changed that up. Everyone does at a certain point. And it's like, he knows. I just look at it like, yes, it's a big fight. Yes, it would be better if Habib was there. But he's a grown man. He's done it too many times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. We will see. So what do you rate in this card? Let's talk about that real quick. What do you rate in this card on the level?
You know, when you sit there and you say rating the card, I love the first, the last two fights. Look, it doesn't get any better than Islam against Volkanovski. That's fantastic. Yair Rodriguez against Josh Emmett. That's a great featherweight fight. I love it. Jack Madalena against Randy Brown is a good fight. Okay. Now then you go into, nothing against Justin Tafa. He swings for the fences. He's tough. Same with Parker Porter. I like him as a fighter. But you're not talking about, two of the top guys in the, I don't even think is either guy ranked in the heavyweights?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay, so it's all right. Jimmy Cruz from the area. Understand why he's fighting. I love Alonzo Menifield and the power of Menifield and the way he's been fighting lately. It's great. Tyson Pedro from the area. I think he's got a ton of talent. He can be really good. And he just needs to fight more. And the guy he's fighting in, I'll screw it up. Bukakis, I want to say, is
Bukakis.
Bukakis.
Yeah.
He's talented. But you look at the rest of the card, it's not bad, but it's nothing special. But you've got to give it to, looking at those top two fights, it's worth the whole thing.
Yeah. Moving off the main event, though, I got to be honest, man. That Josh Emmett fight and Yair Rodriguez fight is a fantastic fight.
Yep.
We're going to see if Josh can take the damage from Yair, because Yair is slick. He's smooth. He doesn't get hit. He finds ways to attack his opponent.
What is the blueprint to beat Yair Rodriguez?
Wrestle him.
Hello.
But
so the question is, does Josh Emmett stay with what has been his priority game plan for the last how many fights? That's to stand up and throw big shots and knock people out. Because if he goes after that game plan, he's going to lose this fight.
I just don't think he's got the wrestling. I know he's a great wrestler. I don't think Yair's gotten so much better at defending the takedowns that he's not just going to flop to his back anymore.
Oh, I don't think he's going to flop to his back. But
it's not the Frankie Edgar Yair day. This
no,
is
no,
not
it's
that.
not.
That's Yair's way different, way better since then.
He is way better. He's gotten way better. But if you're going to look at the style matchup in the stand-up between these two guys, you're a guy with an AR-15. If you're Josh Emmett, you can definitely hurt and damage people. Going up against an Abrams that's got so many goddamn weapons. So many weapons to put you out. It's just, I just look at it and I go, yes, Josh Emmett's got power. But if he wants to get a win here against Yair, he's got to at least make him wrestle, make his arms get heavy, make him have to, one of the things that makes MMA what it is the ability to change from that striking into the grappling. And because they both taxed your body in a completely different fashion. You can take, Josh, you know this, you take Jordan Burroughs, who could wrestle all day long. Okay, a Kyle Dake. They could wrestle all day long. Put them in a boxing ring with boxing gloves, and all of a sudden they're getting tired real fast because they're not comfortable. And it's the same thing in reverse. Take a Ryan Garcia, take a frickin' Gervonta Davis, put them in a wrestling room. They're exhausted instantly because they're not comfortable and they don't know what to do. And that's what makes MMA so good, because you can put your opponent and they have to work their way through these things, and you can put a pressure on them that taxes their system and makes them now average where they were great. I think that's what Josh Emmett needs to do.
Yeah. I just think that calf is going to get exposed. He's got a wider stance to set up his wrestling. He throws big heat, so he's got to have a wide base to set down on his punches. And I think Yair Rodriguez is going to work the body kick, the tip kick up the middle, the body kicks, and the height of Emmett will play a factor as well, because Yair's quick and slick and hiding his kick behind his punches.
Yep.
So if I start attacking that calf, I start chopping it from the bottom to the top, He's going to chop the calf a little bit. It's going to make you start switching your stance. Then he's going to start attacking the head on the head kick on the reverse side because you're not used to defending your head from that side. And then in the middle of all of that, he's going to start tip kicking you. He's going to start hitting the thigh, start side kicking that front thigh. Was that the
oblique kick?
Oblique.
Yep.
He'll hit the oblique kick. It's just going to be target practice. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Josh Emmett, but he's going to have to take away that target practice.
He's not as fast.
No.
Okay.
He's not as slick.
He's not as slick. If you're going to get into a stand-up battle here, you're going in with one weapon. You got power. And yes, you do. It's not a good thing to rely on.
Well, you take a
not
look
against
at,
a slick fighter.
You take a look at when he fought Michael Johnson. He was losing that fight badly all the way up until the very end.
Yeah.
Because he kept searching for the one shot. Now, he got lucky. I wouldn't say it was lucky.
He got it.
He got it, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot harder to hit against somebody like Yair, who's a little bit slicker, a little bit tighter with his defense, and fights a little bit smarter than Michael Johnson did in that fight. And so and in a 5-round fight, Yair has proven that he can come back from the depths of being destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when he fought Korean Zombie with that little up elbow. I mean, and that's the other thing, the funkiness of Yair.
That's it.
Those things will all play a factor in whether Yair gets it done or whether Josh can get it done or not. All right, next fight.
Justin Taffa against Parker Porter. Look at Justin needs to, his style, stand up and bang.
Mm-hmm.
I will take one to give one. And I think in that style, if Parker Porter decides to, okay, I'll meet you with that exchange, Parker's going to have problems. Parker actually can grapple.
Yeah.
He can use that. And if he takes Justin down, he can wear him out with it. Justin's super tough. He doesn't give in to anything. He's not going to quit. But Parker Porter can get the win that way. The question is, does he sit there and say, "Oh, I'm going to sit here and trade shots with him"? If he does, bad idea, and you're going to walk away, or you're going to fly back from Australia with this L following you.
Yeah. I think Parker's just like you said, fight smart. But he was one of the first guys that I'd seen in a long time try to use some takedowns.
Yeah, he will. And he should.
And when he does, he's a lot different fighter than when he doesn't use them. You know, and I look at Parker Porter, he's going to have to get a takedown or two, at least threaten him a little bit to open up the hands, to open up the striking, to make you think about the takedown.
Yeah. So
it gives me that split-second delay for me to land those hard shots. Try to get you out of there. Next one.
Jimmy Crute against Alonzo Minifield. I'm being honest, I really like Jimmy Crute. He's got a hell of a fight here. He's in trouble, in my opinion. Yeah. Alonzo Minifield has really come into his own. He was a guy that was just so strong and physically able to just truck his opponents for a while. And then he started coming up against better opposition, and it didn't happen the same. But he adjusted, and he learned, and he's gotten better. And you watch him in his fights, he has become a much better fighter. And, Jimmy Crute, he's good. I just don't know if he has what it takes to stay with Alonzo Minifield and the athleticism of him.
Yeah, I think Minifield's going to be too much for him also. Yeah. He's going to be able to do what he wants. The athleticism, the strength, I believe, is going to be a factor also. I think he's going to be able to just truck him. Yep. Tyson Pedro and Bukauskas.
Yeah, especially at light heavyweight, because Tyson Pedro was that guy. He was the tweener of the heavyweights, a very small heavyweight, 220, 25 pounds at the most. I think at light heavyweight, he's got speed, he's got good movement, he's got range. This is a good fight for him. He just needs to don't allow the atmosphere to cause him to, implode with not doing the things that he's capable of doing. Because when he goes after people, he's fun to watch. Yeah.
Dave, scroll down to the rest of the card, please. Any other fights on here, John?
No.
I didn't think so.
There's really not.
Jamie Malarkey, he's tough.
Jamie Malarkey is tough. He's fun.
Against Prado.
Yeah, and Prado's good.
Yeah.
Undefeated at this point.
Dun, dun, dun.
But there's...
outside of that fight, I mean, that's really the rest of what I was looking at.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. And Dave, you got any more news for us?
Yeah, well, let's have you guys take a look at this Gamebred Boxing card that was put together and then get your reaction to this.
Wow.
All right, let's go down through it real quick. Anthony Pettis against Roy Jones Jr. I love Anthony Pettis. Anthony, have fun, man. Have a good time. because it's not going to end well for you. You're going to find out that, the elements that allow you to be successful in MMA are going to be the elements that you wish you could use against Roy Jones Jr. Yeah. And Roy is nothing compared to what he used to be, but he's just too slick in a boxing ring for you to be able to get that win. Just being honest.
I mean, he is 50-something, right?
I don't give a shit.
I gotcha. The fight that I'm interested in is the Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens, man. I'm a huge fan of both, and I think this is going to be fun.
They fought in MMA. What happened?
MMA, though.
What happened?
MMA.
What happened?
Yeah, but this is with boxing gloves on.
Yeah, what happened?
John.
Body shots.
Why you got to be so loud?
Body shots.
John.
Body shots.
I get it. But then, Jose was still kicking a little bit at the time. And
yeah, body shots.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a good fight.
You going to go with Jeremy?
No, I'm not going with Jeremy.
Okay.
No. But no, I'm going to go. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a fun fight. They're both boxing.
Vitor Belfort versus Jacare. What do you think? This
is the one that doesn't make sense to me.
It's horrible.
I'm like, Jacare's never been a stand-up guy. He's never had great stand-up. It's been okay, but
decent.
Not great. He's got some power.
Yeah.
And Vitor's
a much cleaner boxer.
Yeah, But where did Paul Daly
my God, this is the one that I look and go, well, Paul, enjoy yourself, because it's only a matter of time before the left hook of Paul Daly puts a hole in the head of Anthony Taylor. Like, Anthony Taylor is a good guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. But let's be honest, as a fighter, he's adequate. He's fought in boxing, yes, but didn't do anything with it. He's fought in MMA, fought in Bellator, fought Adam Borch and stuff. He beat Chris Avila in a fight that both you and I didn't think he really won, but it's like, that is just not a fair fight. Paul Daly is going to punch a hole in his head.
Yeah, Paul's going to be like yelling, come on, fight me.
It's going to be ugly.
So, I mean, look, Masvidal must be doing something right, man, because to get these names on here, where's this thing going to be aired at?
I don't know.
What's it going to be on, Dave?
Let's see.
And it's actually, if you want to say a good matchup, is the Pearl Gonzalez
Fight
versus
Pass.
Gina Masny. That's actually a good matchup.
UFC Fight Pass. The event will be streaming on pay-per-view on UFC Fight Pass.
All right.
Interesting.
It's a reason to get UFC Fight Pass right there.
I wonder what they're paying these guys. Like, Roy Jones got to be a million?
No.
Let's say 500,000.
Okay, so say 500.
500,000. But I mean, why would Anthony Pettis leave PFL? He's making 750,000 a fight.
Yeah.
To take this fight, so it's got to be over 750 or around 750. It's got to be that, right?
Okay, hold on.
Why would you go fight Roy Jones for less than 750 when you can make 750 fighting guys your size?
I don't know.
And that we're obviously
can't tell you.
This guy's fucking Roy Jones is fucking nasty. Still fast, even though he's older.
And this is one at 54. Mm-hmm. Like Roy went the what? Was it 8 rounds with Tyson when they did it?
I think it was.
For that Triller thing. You look and you go, man.
He lost though.
Yeah, he lost.
I know there was no win. It was a draw, but
but
I mean, he lost.
You're right. As far as if you were going to score it, he lost. But
he still took those shots though.
Exactly. So if he can take Tyson's shot, let me see. Can he take Anthony's? Come on.
I mean, Anthony's got significantly more power than Mike Tyson.
Significantly more. There you go.
That was my attempt to be a troll like Dave. Woo! That was my attempt. Oh, man. All right, next.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the Kevin Lee getting re-signed with UFC?
Good for him. Good for him.
That's awesome.
I'm fucking pumped for him.
And I'm glad that the UFC brought him back and stuff. Like, he can still fight.
Yeah.
He's still a talented guy. He's just got to be intelligent in the fashion that he does fight, and be intelligent about the weight class that he decides to fight in. Right now, he's listed at the 170 because of, he had that Diego Sanchez fight with Eagle FC, and maybe he should stay at that because getting down to 155 was killing him.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him stay at 170, and let's see what he does there.
We'll see, but I'm happy for him, though.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for him. I'm glad that he was able to get back in. He needed it. I think he's managed by Ali, which is Habib and Islam and all their managers. And I think that they were able to pull some strings, get him to sit down in front of Dana and be like, hey, look, we like you. I think they've always proven that they've liked him. He just needs to get it together outside of the cage. Like, what do you want to do? You can't be 55, you can't be 70, and then, and him and Ha, and then be inactive and all these other things. So you gotta stay the ground. What do you want to do? Tell me, give me the direction you want to go, and I'll invest money behind you to promote you. And I think that's probably what they did. They sat him down and said, hey, this is what we want to do. And Dana probably jumped on board. Yep. Good for them, though. I'm happy, man. I'm glad. I like him a lot. I've always liked him. He's extremely talented. Yeah. He's a great fighter. He just, I think, got lost a little bit there in the middle, and I think he'll be back. He will be back, obviously, but I think he'll be on a win streak for a little bit. Good for him. Next.
All right, we'll wrap up on this one. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano have been confirmed for May 20th.
Nice.
That's a good rematch.
I'll take that all day long.
That's a good rematch.
Since I thought Serrano won the first one.
So did I. Yeah. I thought that you can say what you want. And I look and I go, Amanda Serrano won that. Mm-hmm. Katie had some moments, but she was struggling in that, and she was in trouble. She got hurt. Give her credit, but I didn't think she won that fight against Amanda, so it'll be nice to see it again.
They're fighting in Ireland, though, it looks like.
Well,
Ireland is own. Interesting.
Since she got the win, Katie got to say where it was at. That's nice.
That's the one where Connor's saying that he's going to cover like security and all that. Remember, like the 500,000 in security and all that stuff that he was tweeting out.
I don't pay attention.
Because they wanted to have it at the Serrano Arena.
All I know is Connor has a new whiskey coming out with an apple flavor. So
that sounds great.
There you go, Connor. I just put up your I can't remember what it was called. Proper 12 apple or something like that.
Did you see his plug for it? Steve Jobs style. That was so great, wasn't it?
It was kind of funny.
Guys, who are we kidding, man? Whiskey is not supposed to have apples in it.
Oh, Josh, it looks amazing. I may even go get a bottle on the way to pick it up.
Oh, see, now there goes Podcast Dave pulling out his troll card.
Yeah, I just threw up in my mouth. Bro, you guys are fucking disgusting. And you're from Scotland. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude.
You don't drink that shit, do you?
Conor McGregor's from Ireland?
These are Irish apples.
It's Irish apples?
These are Irish apples.
Do they even... They can't even grow apples in fucking Ireland. It's too damn cold, it's rainy, and moppy. And
but that's where apples grow.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys...
It can't be real hot. You don't know, Josh Thompson.
Have you guys seen that? There's like that meme where the guy goes, "Silence, ho." Like that's that's where I'm at with you two right now.
You
really?
Shut your whole mouth.
Well, I will say this: John likes to drink some nice whiskey, but occasionally John likes to drink this honey whiskey bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's delicious.
God.
Delicious.
When Amanda and I were we were all in St. Louis, I think, and you fucking were putting those down, and I was
drink
like,
everything, dude. When it comes to whiskey, as long as it's good whiskey, I drink good whiskey.
I took a sip of that, and I was like, this is the sweetest, nastiest shit I've ever had in my life. It was like, I would say, like, people think Fireball was sweet. That shit was like 10 degrees.
Well, I looked at I got my Discover card report this morning after Bellator this weekend, and I gotta say, I'm never going with you guys again.
What are you talking about? I paid for all your meals.
No, yeah, Amanda.
But who paid for the bar?
Yeah, well, excuse me, I wasn't with you when you decided to become a lush.
Amanda Guerra,
our number one listener.
She has this thing she likes to do where after she's had enough, she orders everyone else drinks
and then
on your tab. But she orders, hey, she's like, do you want another drink? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do another one. Then she ordered Dave, you want another drink? Dave's like, all right, sure, I'll do another one. And then whoever else, Nordy, you want another drink? Yeah. And then that goes on my tab, or that goes on Dave's tab. That's what it was. I was like, this chick. And then she doesn't get herself a drink, so it's like she's really just ordering drinks for everybody else on our bill.
And then my kids won't go to college.
Nah, you really got to dial that in, buddy, then, if that's the case. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hit the subscribe button on our channel. Also, the link down below will take you to our clips channel. We have another channel. We release all the short clips. Hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell on there. Hit the thumbs up on both. We appreciate you guys. Go to WayneHandMerch.com. Pick up some of our sweaters, our hats, our short sleeves. All the new designs are out. We're going to try to put up some more new designs here shortly, hopefully. And thank you guys for listening to us. Take us away, John.
Everyone out there, you got that big fight, Islam against Alex. Tell your friends about it. Have them buy the pay-per-view because those guys deserve the numbers and the money. So watch that. Enjoy it. We will talk about it on our next show, and we will see you.